Gotta have my coffee, my son. Gotta have my coffee. All right, welcome to another episode of SteigerMath. I am Jen Steiger, and we are going to get into the world of subtracting integers, and we're actually going to solve these subtraction questions using three different strategies. So here's my equation: -2 minus -6. What does that equal? What on earth does that equal? Well, first thing I'm going to do is use my integer chips to solve this question. So I have my first integer, -2, and what I'm going to do is represent -2 with my chips. Again, in this case, we're just going to use blue for negative and red for positive because I like to think of temperature. So I have -2 here, and I have to take away -6. Well, I don't have -6 to take away. I only have -2. So what? How do I solve this? How do I take away -6? Well, if you remember when we added integers, there's that whole concept of zero pairs. Basically, opposite integers equal 0. So to take away -6, I'm going to create -6 by adding zero pairs. Because remember, zero pairs mean nothing. They equal 0. So I will add a zero pair. Get over here, my son. 1 0 pair. There's 2 0 pairs. 3 and 4. Now, if you look, by adding 4 0 pairs, I have created now a total of -6. Guess what? Now I can take away my -6 because I have -6 by adding 0 pairs. And again, you could add 0 pairs because they mean nothing. They equal 0. So I'm just going to go to my pen tool here, and I am going to take away -6. Not going to take away the 0 pairs. I'm taking away -6 out. And look at what I'm left with. So -2, which is what I represented with first here, take away or subtract -6. So I had to add 0 pairs to get a total of -6. And when you eliminate them, because of what the subtraction question said, you're left with +4. Look at that, eh? All right, I just quickly added another question here because I know it'll come up. I'm just going to, oh, not that, not you either. Get out of here. I'm just going to add a little line here. And I'm going to represent now this question here. So -2 quickly. 1, 2. And in this case here, instead of subtracting -6, I'm actually subtracting +6. So I have to take away +6 now. Well, again, I don't have +6 to take away, so I'm just going to add 0 pairs. 1, 2. I'll have to bring them from up here. 3. And what I'm doing here, creating 0 pairs until I get my +6. You stay there. So now what I've done, I've created all these 0 pairs here to get +6, because that's, again, in my question, what I want to take away. So now I can just simply draw and take away +6, and I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negative. So my question of -2 minus +6 actually equals -3, 6, 7, 8. That's very interesting. And we'll go through that as well with the other strategies. All right, just clean this up a little bit and move my little video dude there. Now we're going to go over number lines. Now this is not exactly my favorite way of subtracting integers, but I'll go over it anyway, mainly just with this question here. So -2, I'm going to start off with where my first integer is saying to start, which is -2, right there. And, oh, where'd you go? -2. And then it says I have to take away -6. Now, this is where you have to think, okay, do I go to the left because it says -6, so like in adding integers, I go to the left, or because remember, you're subtracting. Now, if you think about negatives as like a unit of emotions. If you were to take away 6 negative feelings, wouldn't that actually make you more positive? Oh, I'm feeling bad. Well, if I take away some of those negative feelings, I'm taking away 6 negative feelings. I know it's weird, but just pretend it's a unit of measurement. I'm actually being or creating a more positive feeling. So that is why you are actually going right on the number line, because you're taking away negatives. You're taking away 6 negatives, so you're actually feeling more positive because you're taking away all the bad stuff. You don't want the bad stuff, so you're taking away the bad stuff. So actually you need to move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you are increasing 6. And look at that. You get an answer of +4. That's where you end up, just like using your integer chips. Now, if I were to do this question here on the number line, again, I'll start off down here with -2. And this time you are taking away 6 positive. Why would you want to take away 6 positive feelings? I don't know. Because when you take away something that's positive, you're getting more negative. So you're actually going left on the number line. So 1, 2. Sorry, that kind of freaked me out here. Okay, now we're back to normal. So I start off with -2, and which is right here. And I need to take away 6 positive. So I go left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is where I end up. -8 right there, which is what we had and showed using the integer chips. Again, when you're subtracting integers, you're kind of going the opposite way in the number line because you're taking away a positive or taking away a negative. So that is using the number line. All right, now using mental rules. The rules of subtracting integers, if you're familiar and you feel comfortable with adding integers, this is actually very easy. You don't have to learn other rules because the mental strategies are the same thing as adding integers. Here's the key thing you need to do. When you are subtracting integers, all you have to do is you can actually change your question to an adding question by doing this. You keep your first integer, which is -2, and you could change this operation to an adding question, but because you changed that to an addition question, you change your second integer to its opposite. So instead of -6, it becomes +6. And then you apply the same adding rules, which of course are, you take the sign of your larger number is 6, so my sign in my answer is positive, and I subtract the 2, because again, if you remember, 0 pairs, 0 models, you have to take some away, so you subtract the 2, which is 4, and that's our answer right here. Now, to explain why this works, I'm going to go back and show you how this equals positive 4 using the chips again. So I take negative 2. Negative 2, 1, 2. And I have to, going back to the adding rules, I have to add 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, cool, I got this exact same number. 5, 6. So negative 2 plus positive 6. And then I take out my zero models, if you remember those rules. So I have 2 zero models. I take them out, and I am left with positive 4. So by looking at the integer chips, this shows you why this rule actually works. That's it. I hope you enjoy this, and see you again next time on Mixed Steiger Science. Oh, sorry, SteigerMath.